Welcome back to the Capture Your Confidence podcast. Today we're talking about breaking up with being the good girl. So I just want you to raise your hand if when you were growing up, the measure of whether or not you were successful was if you were a good girl.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if as a grown-ass adult you still struggle with letting go of that.
Yeah.
Hi.
Even as you're saying that, I'm like, even thinking to when you're cheering on your kid at a sports that people say, good job. Like, that's good. Like, we put so much
We have conditioned
into that.
the goodness.
Yeah.
And like, don't get it twisted. I want you to be a good person.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's fair that we're measuring our like likability or success or happiness up against other people perceiving us as good and all these things.
Yeah. And I think the implication for women is so much stronger.
It's the worst.
Right?
I mean, literally, I can think of 1,000 childhood instances where I was either told to be good, like I'm going to a friend's house, be good.
Yes.
You're going to school, be good. You're going to church, be good.
Yeah.
Literally everything, the thing that you were told. And it's not just from your parents, it's literally from society, from everyone. It's like, be a good girl, be quiet, be still, be polite, be good.
Yeah. Don't ask for too much. Don't be loud.
Yeah.
Don't be in the way. All of these ways that we have been conditioned to shrink ourselves.
And you wonder why women have a hard time taking up space.
Yeah.
You wonder why women struggle with being loud, asking for what they want, changing the plan, being difficult. I mean, no wonder when literally every single thing she was told as she grew up was to be the opposite of that.
Yeah. And how interesting that asking for what you want is perceived as being difficult.
Yeah. Oh my God. And literally we were conditioned to believe that if you ask for something that is not what's presented to you, that's difficult. Because you're changing it. You're making them do something different.
Yes. I mean, how many times have you been to dinner with friends? Probably not me, not us.
It ain't you, girl, because I know you're going to change the menu. You're going to be like, I would like this on the side. I would like it warm.
Literally what I was
Please
thinking.
don't bring shellfish because I'm allergic to that shit and I will die.
Where people are either, they literally bring you something that you did not order, or you ordered something and it didn't come that way. And how many times women like roll over?
Oh, it's okay.
Yes. And that's just one example, but a million different things of that's okay. No big deal. I will adjust myself to accommodate someone else's actions.
I bet you, if you were to just put a pen and paper next to you and put a tick mark every single time you had a thought that you wanted to ask or change something, but you decided not to anyway.
Yeah.
I would be flabbergasted to know the number of times that
Yeah.
you had the instinct to ask for something different, but you chose not to, simply because you thought you were being annoying.
Yes. Or even, I'm thinking too, like at the cash register, or there's just so many interactions where we have where just simply stating our opinion becomes something that we are reluctant to do because it could make us be perceived a certain way.
Totally. I mean, you even do this with people that you love, respect, and trust that you know are not going to judge you. Like literally earlier today, we were having a conversation, which I have been putting off for months because I did not want to be difficult or because I didn't want to like disappoint someone.
Yeah.
When there was literally no disappointment and it's literally just a conversation and we're getting on the same page about something.
Yeah.
Like if you can't even have that conversation with someone that you trust, how in the world would you do it in a space where, you're, whether it's like your parents or your kiddos, or there's some level of like contention there. So let's talk about what it's really costing you whenever you bend over backwards every single time you have the opportunity to speak up, but you abandon yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's small and it's gradual, but it's like a little tiny piece of your own voice dying and going away every single time you do that. Like you are sending that message to your brain that what I think is not as important.
What I want doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Every time. And you avoid disappointing other people every time over yourself.
Yeah.
When you're the only one, baby girl, who's going to be with you every day of your entire life.
Yes. And, I think sometimes people say, well, I really don't care that they put cheese or didn't put cheese. Like that is so minor. And I think that's a valid point. But the problem is we start to blend that in with the really big ones of where I'm spending the holidays and what I'm doing with my family and how I'm managing my own time. And so they start to become one and the same, right? Oh, it's okay. You put cheese on my salad. Maybe that is okay. It's like actually not a big deal to you. But what you're committing your time to and saying yes to is actually a big deal. So you can't be in the habit of always just overlooking everything, because then it starts to spill over into the big areas that matter.
Totally. And the next thing you know, it's like you're telling yourself that this thing that really causes you a ton of discomfort is no big deal.
Yeah. So why do you think breaking this pattern, if you've decided, yes, I do this a lot and I don't want to be this person, why does breaking that pattern feel scary?
Yeah. I mean, again, because we've been conditioned to not disappoint people. We've been conditioned that the worst thing in the world you could do is be an inconvenience for someone. And what we're having to face is the idea of being inconvenient to someone.
Yeah.
And what that means for our relationships and how they see us.
Yeah. And, if your whole relationship has been built on this notion that you kind of are the pushover and you are the easy agree, right? Like maybe that's why the relationship tends to work. Yeah. And so then we get into the bigger picture of, is this a relationship that maybe is not going to be around forever, right?
And then that's scary because it's what you've known and you've been investing in these relationships, and maybe they're relationships that feel really scary to let go of. I mean, we're talking about relationships with parents and friends and siblings and all of these things that have been, decades, if not lifetime relationships that you're then questioning because you're realizing that every single time you bend and fit yourself into a box in order to maintain that relationship. And once you start to prioritize yourself, even close to the level that you're prioritizing other people, then you have a duty to ask yourself, well, what's more important, how I feel about me or how you feel about me?
Yeah. And this tiptoes right into boundary work, which nobody loves to set a boundary.
Ain't nobody.
I mean, I do, but most people don't.
She's the literal queen and she does it like it's like not even hard. I'm like, wow. Okay, look at her go. Look at her say nah.
So, okay, how we want to break up with the good girl, if we do, right? What are some things that we can do to try to make it a little less icky?
Yeah, I think you got to start small. And in my own life, like I've had to use excuses in order to help me bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to come up with all of these reasons why I'm being difficult, and they have to be valid reasons.
Yeah.
Right. I can't just be difficult because I don't want to do the thing.
Yeah.
But if that's the crutch that you got to use to get you to start like choosing yourself and or like prioritizing your own happiness, like, okay, fine. Use it then.
Yeah. Whatever it takes to get to a place where you can start to use your own voice to advocate for yourself.
For sure. And again, like don't revolutionize, like go and break up with people. Just, I mean, like start with one small thing.
Yes.
I'm going to say no to doing this one thing because it's inconvenient for me. Doesn't mean that I don't ever want to speak to you again.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it could, but don't start there.
Yeah. That feels like a harder one to do. Okay, honey. And I think too, thinking through being honest with yourself about where you're disappointing yourself in order to keep the peace. I think the first step is awareness always. I'm just starting to pay attention like, ooh, I'm frustrated.
Yes.
Wonder why.
Yeah. And making a note of that. I mean, because I think we are so busy, we have so much going on that there's nothing wrong with taking out like a piece of paper or a thing on your phone and kind of like identifying these moments. Like, where do you feel like you could use some skill building, right? Where in this area where you could kind of, a backbone would be okay, right? Like learning to speak up for yourself would be a useful skill.
And I think getting some accountability, whether it's a therapist or a friend, like literally the homegirl is literally always trying to get me to like enforce boundaries, and she's checking in on me like, hey, did you say that thing you needed to say yet? And I'm like, no ma'am, no I have not. Thank you for checking on me. I will.
So
maybe start
but a
doing
list
that.
A list can help.
A list can help, but also I think having a person can help too.
Yeah.
That you can go to. And the other thing is just redefining what feels selfish, like, or rewriting, like playing it out. Like, why do I think I'm selfish for wanting this thing? Why do I feel bad about changing the game or asking for something different? Because I think you pretty quickly will realize how unreasonable it is that you're holding yourself to something that makes you unhappy for such a silly, small outcome.
Yes. And then always trying to role reverse. Because most times when we do that, we say, oh, well, if my friend would come to me and say A, B, and C, like I'd be
like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. I would understand where they were coming from. I wouldn't think they were being selfish. But for some reason, when it's us doing it, we don't hold ourselves to that same level of compassion.
And 9 times out of 10, women are not being malicious or mean or difficult with their requests. Like if there's something that you want to change, I am guessing that it's really not that big of an inconvenience to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not bad for other people. You're not I'm reaching here, but I'm guessing you're not a bad person. Like you're the kind of person who's invested in your personal development and building great relationships. Surely to God, what you're asking for is really not that hurtful to other people. And it's okay for you to ask for that thing.
Yeah. And I think once you have a playbook for doing, for kind of breaking out of the good girl persona, you do it once and you start to reap some of those benefits and you start to see how that lightens things. The load. Right? Lightens the load. You don't feel dread, right? Coming up to do something that you really don't want to be doing or going somewhere you really don't want to be going. And you'll notice when it is, because there might be circumstances where you like got out of having to do something by like circumstance and you'll be like, oh man, I wish it was like this every time. It's like, whoa, red flag, honey. Like you were people pleasing. You're doing something that you don't want to do for other people. And if you were literally waiting for an out, that's a red flag. And I think it's also important to talk about, what if you do disappoint someone? What if you do try to break this good girl persona, do something you've literally always done, and someone actually does say to you, oh, I'm so disappointed?
Well, you're going to.
Yeah.
There's not an if. There's no question. When you start to prioritize yourself over other people, someone is going to have a problem with it, especially if there's a history of your relationship of you not doing that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to tolerate the extreme discomfort of them being displeased with you changing the game.
Yeah. And it comes back to this notion of, someone's reaction is not really your responsibility and all you can do is deliver the news and you're not really responsible for what happens after that.
And you will quickly realize, much like the formula to confidence, that you did not die.
Yeah.
And that you can tolerate the discomfort of them being upset with you. And you will live, and eventually they will either get on board or their relationship with you will minimize to whatever level they're willing to interact with you. And you're going to be okay because of that.
Yeah. I often find that self-selection is sometimes really the best thing. Like things just kind of evolve and ebb and flow the way that they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, they're there for a season and the season has come and gone.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can't hang on with white knuckle grip just to try and keep things the same, especially why would you want to if it's making you miserable in the first place?
Yeah. And I think once you start to feel that release and what that feels like when you're letting go of that, it's easier to celebrate who you're becoming.
And I think the relationships that really do serve you, they will celebrate right alongside you.
Yeah.
Like whenever you choose yourself, the people who really are invested in you will be like, I'm so proud that you did that. Or thank God. Like literally my girlfriends are always like, thank God. Like here she is. She's waking up. She's coming online. Like, and they'll celebrate that with you, and you get to celebrate choosing yourself, because it feels really freaking good whenever you stand up for yourself and you stand up for the little girl who was always told to be quiet and to just shush and not be difficult. And when you say, you know what, like goodness be damned, I'm going to ask for what I want, or I'm going to say, I don't want this circumstance. And then to watch yourself have your own back, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. And then you get a
Good taste of who belongs in the circle, right? In the small circle.
Just be warned, okay? Because once you start doing this work, you're going to keep doing this work, and you're going to like really shake some shit up and make some people mad and shed all of the relationships in your life that are not serving you. So just be aware once you start.
I know. It becomes something you want to replicate and continue doing.
And you see the benefit from doing it.
Yeah.
And I think so often women put off taking the first step because it is so scary to tolerate the idea of being disappointing or difficult to someone.
Yeah. And so we just want to encourage you that if you feel stuck in the good girl persona, it doesn't have to be like that.
You're not a tree and you can move.
Yes.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.